Yeah, The Boys is one of those that you either like it or you don't,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Because of how gruesome it is. But
Very.
dude, it's such a good show.
My wife doesn't even love gruesome stuff, and she loves The Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has to close her eyes sometimes, but
Well, season 5 of The Boys is going to be very supernatural. It
they're
is
not even
because-
trying to hide it. They're not even
No,
trying to hide it.
it's literally going to be Jensen Ackles, Jared Padalecki, and Misha that plays Castiel.
I never watched Supernatural. That's another show, but that's an investment.
Same.
Oh wow! Speaking of the devil, yeah, but that's an investment. What's it like? 45 seasons?
15, but yes.
Yeah. Big countries in the house.
Hey, there you go.
Oh, Justin! Oh my gosh! Now that you're bigger now, your setup with all your hilts, and then the hilts on your wall look good too. Who you got back there? I see Dooku. That's the only one that I can recognize because of the curve.
I've got
His
Dooku.
curve
I've
killed
got I've got Ahsoka. I've got Emperor Palpatine. I've got Maul, and I've got my custom one that I built over at the park.
Yeah, I gotta make a reservation for that because I'm gonna. I've never been to Galaxy's Edge.
It's a lot of fun.
What's
a bit
the
on
one
the
that just
expensive
looks like
side, but it's a lot of fun.
I'd say gonna be worth it though. What's that chrome pipe above Dooku's?
Hmm?
It just
Which
looks
one?
like a chrome pipe.
This one?
Yeah.
It's Ahsoka's second lightsaber.
Okay. Oh, is it curved?
No.
I thought hers were curved too for some reason.
One.
Well, no, her new ones from Rebels onward were.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Someone let me hold the double ones.
Yeah.
They're heavy.
They are.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Actually, the one that he has, they're not that heavy. They're not as heavy as the ones that you're talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, these ones in particular are fairly light. This one's got some weight to it. This one's got a fair bit of weight to it. I'm shocked that this one, as small as it is, it's got a lot of weight to it. And then what was the other one? From Jedi Fallen Order, Cal Kestis.
That one's the heaviest, I think.
The heaviest one I think they've ever put out. Like,
And then you can combine it. You can.
Oh yeah.
You can do two.
Oh,
you can do
it's
double.
awesome.
So
Yeah,
it's
and
like
it becomes his nuts.
big nuts.
That one's sick. It's all busted up, right?
Yeah.
A busted hilt. You get that used hilt.
The slight curve.
oh man, yeah. So, busted hilts and heel turns and some new tech and all that stuff, and possibly a little bit more on this week's episode of the Nerd Archive podcast, also with a special guest. So, yeah, we'll be back in a second. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Bean. It's
Welcome to the Nerd Archive podcast.
The little guy, Bilbo or Pippin, whatever the hell his name is.
Nintendo fans, I see a lot of people getting, just freaky corner.
What's going on, guys? My name is Lewis. This is the Nerd Archive podcast, and as always, we have Justin, Yadi. Lola's not here today, but we have Chris Yobb from the what is it called now?
Oh man, a few of them. I'm on the they both changed names recently. I'm on Into the Disneyverse, which is about Disney. Spoiler alert. And then I'm on Parents Night Out podcast.
Yes. Parents Night Out. I'm sick. I feel sick, so I can't speak. And normally I can't speak.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the difference?
Yeah, but I can't speak today. So, with that being said, Chris, how have you been, dude? We haven't had you in this podcast for a while. We missed you.
Yeah, so I heard you tried to get Ryan first, and then you tried to get other Ryan, and then I'm glad that they were
Okay, that's
busy.
a lie because Ryan is never going to be invited first. I'd rather have Remy first than Ryan.
Oh,
No, man, I'm so happy to be back. It has been a while. It has been a while. I don't think I even had a kid yet the last time I was on here.
That is true.
Yeah,
damn, that long.
I know. It's been that long. And it's probably part of the reason why I've been very busy.
Yeah, I
It's
can
been,
imagine.
Understandable.
been trying to get some extra sleep. I've been going to sleep early now. It's horrible, man. Getting older and having a kid makes you do that. But yeah, I'm really happy to be back, guys. I'm excited. A lot to talk about tonight. A lot to talk about.
Oh yeah, we have two main topics, but both very heavy actually. So
Am I one of them?
no, we don't have time for that kind of heavy.
Gotta love that self-deprecating humor.
Yeah. So, Justin, how are you today, dude? I haven't seen you in like a week. That's not true. We recorded reacts yesterday, but that's not.
Yes. That doesn't count, man.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that, just like we don't talk about Bruno.
Yadi, how you doing, man?
Doing okay.
Yeah. You guys play Rivals last night?
I did. We did. You did try it. How you like it, Justin?
I actually had a lot of fun. I mean, we only played 2 games plus a practice game, and I was just kind of trying out Star-Lord. So he was like the only character I played.
I bet you were trying out Star-Lord.
Hey. But yeah, no, I gotta.
You
I
have
gotta-
to, dude, you have to.
gotta give him that hot.
I thought that was your thing with the guy from Wendy's, though.
No, that is. I stole it from you. Whatever.
Yeah, no, I just gotta play as some of the other characters just to kind of get an idea of like what everybody does and kind of like focus in on like what my main is going to wind up being. But I'm definitely enjoying it so far.
Chris, do you play Rivals?
I tried it when it first came out, and was too distracted by the Invisible Woman. So I had to stop
I mean,
playing.
I can't say as I blame you. I mean,
Yeah.
I like that alternate costume of hers a bit more, though.
Yeah, I just go into the practice mode with her. I don't even go to the actual public game.
And he has it on VR.
Just keep jumping.
Oh,
That's why I haven't been on here
jumping.
such a long time. I've been lost in virtual reality.
shit.
Shit. All right. So something big happened in the wrestling world.
Oh, yes.
Huge.
Huge, I tell you, huge. John Cena. Unlike Chris, he turned his heel
Ooh.
and didn't get hurt. For the first time, this is the first time he's ever been a quote unquote villain.
Second time.
He's-
actually.
yeah,
time,
he
yeah.
he was like what was
Stay
his
in your
name?
lane, Lewis.
Yeah.
You know what? This is why I don't speak.
when he first debuted the rapper gimmick, I think it was after that special Halloween episode when he showed up as Vanilla Ice. Everybody was like, dude, this works. Like, you should kind of go with that, make it part of your character. And so he started going with that a lot more. And then there was this heel turn. And then I don't know how long that lasted, but no, it was right up until I think Survivor Series a couple years later when he was supposed to be a part of Brock Lesnar's team. And then that was his face turn. And then he's been a good guy for like the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And right up until this past Saturday at the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, but
You know-
nothing like this turn that
Yeah.
happened now.
No,
People are comparing this to when Hulk Hogan turned.
It's even bigger than that in my opinion, because that was on WCW. That wasn't even WWE. So it's like WWE didn't even have the balls to do something like that with Hulk Hogan. Their biggest hero. I mean, John Cena. the record holder, Guinness World Record holder for most Make-A-Wishes granted.
Yep.
Like, he is not just the face of WWE, he's like a face in real life. Like, nicest guy you'd
Oh,
ever
yeah.
meet. For them to do this was huge. They're talking about it on like First Take on ESPN. It's made major headlines.
Everybody has been talking about this, and it's like they called. I mean, this is, I think, only what they consider like the second monster heel turn in wrestling history. The first, obviously, being Hogan
Yeah.
at the '97 Bash at the Beach. But like this, honestly, like you said, I think this eclipses that by a
I think
fairly
so.
wide margin, because like the way Cena's been like for the last 2 decades, nobody saw this coming, and everybody's talking about it. And so those comparisons were inevitable, I think.
So I had a theory, and I have it texted. So I did text someone this, so I do have proof that I did this. My theory was that John Cena would be the one to take the Rock's offer. I did not see it coming like this, though. I thought it was going to happen. I thought CM Punk was going to win the Elimination Chamber, because I thought it would be characteristic of John Cena to fail again, because that's what he's been doing for the last couple of years, is losing matches and failing. I thought he was going to fail in the Elimination Chamber after calling his shot and putting himself in the Elimination Chamber. And I thought Cody was going to come out and say no to The Rock, and then bruised and battered John Cena would come out desperate and take The Rock's offer. When John Cena won the Elimination Chamber, that totally threw that theory out the window. I was like, man, this is weird seeing two faces in the ring together.
Yeah.
Just being excited to fight each other at WrestleMania, and that did not last long.
No,
but
no.
I think that anyone would be lying if they saw this coming at the magnitude that it happened at as well, too.
Well, I mean, looking
Go ahead.
back at it over like the last year or so, like year and a half, like if you really look back at it, there were kind of hints at like maybe that this was coming, because and Cena has said it himself, like there were plans at some point, I think last year, to turn him heel. He had a totally new entrance theme, new gear, all that ready to go, but then that whole plan just fell right through. But then there's also been kind of like smaller hints kind of leading up to that as well, that a lot of people, I think, just didn't pick up on until it happened. And then you look back at it like, holy shit, like the signs were there the entire time, which is we just didn't fucking see it.
Yeah, it's like him just saying that he was going to be in the Elimination Chamber. That was one of the things that, nobody does that without going to a fight, but he could. And then ending his like 2,400 plus days losing streak.
Oh, that's right.
That was the other thing.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he technically won the match. Yeah, so that would have. Yeah, they. But the seed planting, I guess, if you will, has been so good in WWE, but they do it so subliminally that like you don't even realize it. And looking back, it's like what they do now is they do stuff in front of your face without you knowing, and now you want to go back and rewatch all their stuff to think, oh my god, what happened here? What happened there? Like what The Rock came out at what was it? And everyone thought it was a waste. He came out at the end of, was it War Games? I think it was. He came out at the very end, and he did that whole motion, and it turns out it could have been John Cena's thing when he did the 1, 2, 3, and then when he slit his throat to Cena, he had the number 2 up. So is it 3, 2, 1? Now everyone's thinking and everyone's talking about it online. So they're just doing such a good job, and kudos to The Rock, because The Rock is his final boss character is one of the coolest creations that they've come up with. But all these just seed planting that are just happening right in front of our face is so much fun to watch and theorize. It's like watching WandaVision for the first time all over again.
Nice.
Yeah, when I saw The Rock come out with this new character, new persona, I guess, it brought back memories when he was like going against like Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold Steve Austin, and seeing him like look almost like he was in his prime story wise, because obviously physically he's not in his prime anymore.
No.
But when it comes to like storyline, I think that to me that it brought back a lot of memories.
Oh yeah. Plus, this is also a play on when he was Hollywood Rock.
Yes.
Because you can also see, like, you can see that in what he's wearing, his general attitude, which, I mean, hasn't really changed all that much. And then also the two versions of his song, which they melded together.
Yeah.
And I am actually surprised that I'm pleasantly surprised that they actually made that work. That was really cool. And I don't think, like, I got to watch, it was a day late, but I got to watch Monday Night Raw. And I mean, dude, CM Punk is understandably pissed off. And I don't think, like, his part in this, I don't think is over, because Paul Heyman still owes him a favor. And so he's going to be going after the both of them. So I think it's possible that there is still a way in for him for the main event at Mania.
Yeah, like the first night. Well, that might be like what they did last year, where they had Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth. So they might play something like that. I mean, hopefully not, because they already played it, but maybe Rock will have someone fight for him. We'll see where that goes. I
watched a really cool theory online. There's one of the biggest YouTubers that does WWE stuff, put out a 40-minute video of all his predictions for WrestleMania. His prediction for night one was very reminiscent of last year's, the tag team match between what would happen, right? So it was The Rock, Travis Scott, because there are reports out that Travis Scott is training for in-ring action, which he has to because he doesn't know how to pull a punch.
Yeah.
Dude, that's slap. Oh my God.
That, I honestly don't think he should be doing any of that. And I actually did tweet that out. Like, he never should have been in the ring in the first place. He has no clue what the hell he's doing.
So I do understand why they're bringing him on. You're trying to bring eyes into the WWE that wouldn't be watching it. So now people who like Travis Scott, which is a lot of people, are now seeing this online and think, oh my gosh, wow, he's in there with The Rock, who they also know from movies and this and that. And maybe they watch it. And if they see he's going to be at WrestleMania, they might too, So I understand it. I don't necessarily agree with that as a wrestling fan, but I get it from a business standpoint.
Well, it was along the same lines of what they did when they brought Bad Bunny in.
So that's where actually I was going with Justin, because his theory was Travis Scott, The Rock, and then a third member, right? And John Cena, obviously, versus Cody Rhodes, and Bad Bunny as their celebrity guy, and then obviously someone else, which they were predicting would be maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin, who has said that he would have loved to do WrestleMania 40 if it wasn't halfway across the country. He said in an interview, if they have WrestleMania in Vegas, I'm right down the way. And if Cody needs an extra hand, let me know. So who knows? But hearing that glass shatter one last time against The Rock. Come on.
Oh, jeez.
Well, he was supposed to come out last year instead of Undertaker. That was the plan, was him. But then they couldn't work it out, so Undertaker came over and started with the American Badass thing, and that's what he is.
Which I do like, because he explained that in, I don't know if it was the Last Ride documentary, but he's like, he's no longer the dead man ever since he dropped the kayfabe outside the ring, which I love, because it would have just made things weird. I love that he had another persona that he could tap into. I still love seeing him whenever you hear that bell and then you hear the American Badass theme. I love it.
His last appearance, though, I don't know if you've seen it a few months ago. Yeah, it was like the first Raw on Netflix. That was very random.
Oh, yeah.
That was obviously just to shove him on, shoehorn him into the
another
show.
thing.
Just for ratings.
But see, therein lies the point. Like, he, at first, when they pitched that idea to him, he was like, I don't want to fucking do that. That's Rhea's moment, and I don't want to. But they worked it out, and everybody was cool about it, and fucking you could see the excitement on Rhea's face when he came out, and but it's like he was adamantly just against it at first. I'm like,
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he he did not want to do that initially to kind of overshadow Rhea's moment.
He's a very humble guy. It's
yeah.
it's interesting. He's a very humble guy, and he doesn't have to be. He is one of the biggest stars ever in that industry, and he's super, super humble. And this is really going off the rails, but it's still having to do with Undertaker. Have any of you watched LFG at all?
I have not, but I've seen some of the ads and videos on shorts and whatnot.
Yeah, won't talk too much about it, but it is a reality competition show starring Booker T, Undertaker, Mickey James, and Bubba Ray Dudley, and it's the top 2 winners. They're the 4 coaches, and the top guy and the top woman who win get an NXT contract, and it's really really good show. It's really pulling back the curtain on WWE, which they've never done before.
It's
so
like
really cool.
Tough Enough.
Kind of. But it's like they show a lot of, like, I guess you'd say, industry secrets. Like, it's like they're really just leading into, like, this is a show. I mean, this is entertainment.
They figured, like, that also brings a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because ever since, the internet and everything started to show, like, behind the curtains and whatnot, like, they show a lot of videos for, like, 2, like, maybe last week's show. They show a lot of stuff in the Gorilla area and whatnot, and that's something that you would never see before.
No, but I love that.
I love it too, yeah.
I ever since Triple H took over and there's this new era, he said that, like, no, we're gonna talk about stuff because this is entertainment. So we'll talk about storylines and we'll talk about this. We're not pretending anymore. We're not pretending this is real, and it's better that way. I mean, it's just like any TV show or movie. I love that argument. People, oh, it's not real. Neither is any of the movies that you ever watched or any of the TV shows.
I remember when I was younger, someone explained it to me. It's like wrestling is like the soap operas for men.
100%. It is 100%
because
that way.
If you think about it, a lot of most of the soap operas, they're bad acting, overacting, and wrestling is the same. And yeah, you get some action, you get them like to throw each other and who wins, whatever, but we all watch to see what the storyline is happening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's their way to bring in people to see how they settle, in the ring.
Yeah, it is great. And that's when I think you start to really appreciate wrestling for what it is when you get invested in the storylines. It makes everything so much more interesting.
Oh yeah.
Even the wrestling is an art. You see those storylines bleed out in the matches. It's like we were talking about earlier before we came on here. It is the best now that it's ever been.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, like you were saying, I love a lot of the backstage stuff and like behind the scenes and things like that. I think so far, still my favorite has been like the whole behind the scenes with CM Punk's return at War. What is it? It was at War Games.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And then like watching him appear on Ariel Helwani's podcast. I think it was like right after his injury, and going over all that stuff that happened with him between his stint in AEW and then his return, which was like super cool to see.
So looking forward now to, like, I think around SummerSlam, let's look past WrestleMania. What are your guys' predictions with this John Cena heel turn? Is he going to retire as a heel, retire on his back as a heel, or is he going to redeem himself and retire as a face again? I think the latter, personally. I think he has to redeem himself. I think it's going to be like a Darth Vader storyline, right? Where he was, good, turned evil by the dark side, and then redeemed himself.
Yeah. That's what I would like to see, too. I would like to see him turn back to face. But also maybe him facing The Rock later on.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
That'll be a great match.
One last go around.
Yeah.
What if that's actually the main event in WrestleMania?
No, because this is his last WrestleMania for John Cena. At least that's what he said last year was that this is going to be his last WrestleMania, but then he's going to go through the whole year with 36 dates or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some people saying that he might not actually be retiring, and then but with this whole heel turn and whatnot, and him joining with The Rock, like this might have just been a work or a swerve or something like that, and he might be going for a little bit longer. But
You can bend the
I mean,
rules now.
who's
Yeah,
to
you're
say?
right. You think he beats Cody at Mania? I think he does.
I think
It's
it will.
possible, yeah.
Either way, I think it will still bring a lot of people.
Mm.
You know.
Oh yeah, 100%. Definitely. Gonna sell
And that's
tickets.
their main goal always is to bring that, and you can tell like too with the way they handle their story last year to now, it's like how their script can change at any moment. I mean, it's
yeah.
always been
Yeah,
like
you're
that,
right.
but people start talking about what's happening and making stories and demanding certain things, and either they listen or they just go completely opposite. So now, even though we all know it's a storyline and whatnot,
Mhm.
it's very it's hard to predict now. 'Cause
True enough.
You don't
I
know.
think the biggest difference is, though, especially with the product that we have now as opposed to what we had when Vince was still in charge, is like it really didn't matter how much fans complained or bitched or anything like that. Like Vince was way too set in his ways, and when he went in a certain direction, you weren't going against that because he just wasn't gonna hear it. Whereas now you've got that, like, they're more open to doing, trying something different.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, and like you said, anything can change at any point in time, and it's just like, okay, if this isn't working, all right, let's turn it and go in this direction. Whereas Vince would be just stubbornly just crash his way right through it, no matter how it fucking turns out.
100%.
Now, I like with Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble, he's the one that should be the main event, right? Typically, that's what it is. So
I can't see him being the main event.
then that's the other thing too. Is like, yeah, like the
Mhm.
main story right now, it's all around John
Yeah.
Cena and
Yeah,
It's like I feel like it overshadowed Jey
100%.
Uso.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Gunther's not doing him any favors either, because I
Right.
don't think that I don't think he was a great Intercontinental Champion, but as World Heavyweight Champion, I don't think they're doing much to push the storyline. Last night, I was watching Raw and they booked Gunther versus Otis. Like, why are they doing that? In WrestleMania season, they booked Gunther versus Otis. The World Heavyweight Champion is wrestling a mid card match versus Otis. I'm like, they're not doing any favors promoting what should be a main event. Yeah.
True enough, but I think they're kind of I guess they're trying to do that to make him look stronger,
Yeah.
than he is and whatnot. Make him look as dominant as he sees himself or as they portray him. And I think Jay's going to wind up winning that match at Mania,
Hopefully he needs
regardless.
yeah, hopefully.
But it's like it sucks because yeah, he won the Rumble, and so but he's basically taking his storyline, and that is basically taking a back seat to The Rock and Cena and Cody and whatnot. And I'm like, I don't really like seeing that sometimes, man.
Actually,
It's like the new generation is taking a back seat from like the OGs.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna play these people right now. You're gonna go back to when you first started your career. Just watch from afar.
now thinking about it though, Jey Uso might be Cody Rhodes' tag team partner.
So
And
I
then-
was watching something online, reading something online. I don't know. I watch and consume a lot of WWE content these days. But they were saying when Cody was getting jumped, no one came out to help him. Like, he has no friends now. It seems that way anyway. Sami Zayn's dead. Like, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
that
he's
match.
dead. So-
did you see that one?
That was amazing.
Oh my
Fucking
god,
hell.
that was a
That
good
was-
one.
That was a clinic.
Yeah, they did such a good match.
Yeah.
So yeah, will Jay come out? Well, is that overplayed? I think
Well-
Randy Orton's gonna have his hands full with Kevin Owens.
Well, I think that because their main goal was always to have Roman Reigns and The Rock, right? So if they bring Jey Uso out and The Rock is fighting and whatnot, and maybe Roman Reigns don't know who to help, and that might create the conflict between him and The Rock, which hopefully they'll do. Maybe not. Maybe WrestleMania next year. I don't know, but maybe that will start something.
Well, if they're planning on starting something like that, you have to wonder like how. I don't think starting it at this WrestleMania and then trying to stretch it out until the next year's WrestleMania, I don't think that would be a smart decision.
I
mean,
agree.
that's what they did with The Rock.
Yeah, I was going to say, I
Find a
agree,
boss.
but everything with The Rock is whatever he wants. And I always thought that
problem I have.
something happening at Mania would be such a great build-up for a SummerSlam, which is a great, huge event.
Mhm.
But I don't know if The Rock would settle for a SummerSlam match. Because it's The Rock. He's just stuck in his way. He's the Vince McMahon of the ring. You
Pretty
know?
much. And that's that's something that I don't really like about The Rock, especially now, because as far as I'm concerned, he's not the kind of superstar that he thinks he is
No.
anymore. And his movies aren't really drawing much anymore, at least not as much as they did.
He was the highest paid actor last year, I just read. So he's really good at promoting. I talked about this like I think the first ever time I was on this podcast is he makes you want to see or play or do anything. He makes everything seem so good, and usually his movies are so bad. But it's like the press tours he does, they make you think he's going to get an Oscar nomination for it.
And that's why they brought him back, because that's how he was on the WWE. He would sell.
But even
It didn't
with
matter
the-
who he was fighting. He could have been fighting the easiest person.
even with the
Insta-
reviews and stuff, like he still sells. It don't matter. He still sells.
Well, I mean, you can play whatever character you want on screen, but like behind the scenes, like being in the kind of authority position and whatnot that you are, just like seriously keep your fucking ego in check, because it's not like it's not about you. Like how old is that guy at this point? Like,
He's
I
in his
think
50s,
I
right?
think at this point he's doing it for the business because it is selling. Like people can think anything they want, but whatever he's doing is working. Because look, we don't always watch wrestling, but we are now.
Yeah, that's true. Dylan in chat commented something that I wanted to touch on too. He said corporate John Cena. And that's one of the angles that I hope that they do. WWE recycles a lot of storylines and a lot of themes. And back in the I started watching every pay-per-view from 1999 onward, and I got like 6 or 7 in, but one of the huge themes was the corporation. And I thought that was such a cool storyline, and that seems to be exactly what they're doing. Is The Rock, head of the on the board, he's the boss. And so now John Cena works for him. So I don't think this is going to end with just him and Cena. I think he's going to recruit other people to his team to fight to be his champions, his team of guys, which I really hope they do. I think that would be really interesting.
oh, I absolutely agree. I think that's the way it's going to go, and I hope they take it to that next level. Because I mean, yeah, you're right. They do recycle some of the older storylines, and that it's not necessarily a bad thing depending on what storylines they're recycling and where they go with them. So I think the original corporation storyline was actually pretty good up until the whole thing became the corporate ministry, and then it was just kind of okay. This
Weird,
is dumb, but. I think this could be good, and it's going to get a lot more eyes on it, especially with that massive Cena heel turn.
Oh yeah,
Because
for sure.
that is fucking taking the wrestling world by storm.
It's crazy how all the people are reacting to it, like about all the Make-A-Wish.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, no. Make a Wish turns to Break a Wish.
They patent that apparently.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, they're really going all in on this, huh?
Ryan in chat. I think Cena should take up rebooting the Ernest movies.
He does look like.
He does look like him a little bit.
But then he dies at a gym just to make it fit him.
Speaking about that corporate ministry storyline, I don't know if it was that or if it was before that, but it was definitely one of the corporation storylines. The most shocking thing that I watched when I was watching over the pay-per-views was when the Undertaker hung Big Boss Man
Yeah.
in the Hell in a Cell and raised it up. How did he survive that? Like it was in Philly too. I remember they were saying it was at the Spectrum, I think. Yeah, he hung Big Boss Man. Like, man, they really didn't hold back at all back then. Like they tried to kill a guy on TV.
It's crazy. Yeah, and I'm sure there was something with the rope and that, and that they weren't gonna let that guy. They weren't gonna let him because I mean, yeah, no, he hangs a guy. He crucified Steve Austin
That's right.
on his symbol, which I thought was actually really cool. I think he tried to do the same with Stephanie McMahon when he kidnapped her and tried to marry her or some shit like that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
God.
It's there's so many interesting. Like I loved, like I said, the corporation storylines, like you were saying, and like the Ministry of Darkness storylines were like super cool when they were separating this fucking fly going around.
I have one too.
Yeah.
It just moves from one side to the other.
Yeah. But like when they combined the two and made the corporate ministry, I'm just like, why couldn't you just keep these separate?
I think there had been a better idea than
So
this.
going back to what you guys are saying, that things that wrestling did that were questionable for the human body. There was a lot of stunts, not just the hanging, but Mankind
Oh yeah.
being thrown off the cell onto a table,
Yep.
and he still wrestled after that.
Oh yeah.
And just we can make a list of just his stunts. And let's not talk about TLC matches.
Did you see the the pictures of Mankind after all that shit went down, of how he looked? Like literally his fucking teeth were poking out through his fucking nostrils. And fun fact, Undertaker did not want to do that spot. He did
I
not.
can't imagine. I can just imagine the table read. Okay, Undertaker. We have an idea. And I bet it came from Mankind too.
It was his idea. He
Yeah, I was
wanted
like,
to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to pin him. And Mankind gets up. Nope, better idea. You're going to throw me off. Of what? The cell. I was like, what? Not happening. And then you get the Hardy Boys.
Oh man, who are back in the
They-
WWE kind of.
Kind of.
Oh yeah.
Poor Jeff.
TNA, they're partnering.
Yeah. Love that partnership with TNA. It's just you see all this cool shit happening that once again never would have happened under Vince.
Oh, it's better for wrestling. Yeah,
Yes.
it's better for wrestling. I wish they would do it.
Say
with
his
AEW.
name.
And he appears.
Best. The Hardy Boys, though, Lewis.
Yes.
They I'm surprised they can still walk. 'Cause, listen, I see Mankind that or Mick Foley, whatever you want to call him, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, at the comic convention. This dude can barely walk. He is not in good shape. And I don't think he would have changed a thing either, to be honest with you.
No.
He loved that shit.
Yeah.
But the Hardy Boys, man, they're still going at a pretty good level, man. Like they haven't slowed down much.
Did you know that he became the hardcore champion, like that persona, after a match that he did in Puerto Rico? Because the street rules that we had in our wrestling, he loved them so much that he wanted to implement it to WWE.
No, I didn't know that.
Because the street rules of Puerto Rico was what you see now, or what you saw back then with Mankind or Mick Foley. That was the norm. And if you see all those wrestlers that did during that time, like their foreheads are all like wrinkly from all the
It's a lot of
cuts
scars.
and the scars, and a lot of them can't walk now. But
Ryan, we already know this. You're the softcore champion.
yeah. Well,
Well, like Carlito's dad is one of the ones that still to this day has a company in Puerto
Really?
Rico. Hmm.
yeah.
Didn't he kill a
And-
guy?
No, not him. It was the Invader.
Okay.
Invader.
Which
that's
also
what-
great
allegedly,
wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes. And that's the story. A lot of the wrestlers still say to this day is like, was it Bruiser Brody?
Hmm.
Is the one that died at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Carlitos, that is the one that owns that company, WWC. It's the name.
Mm.
And then that's where Ric Flair fought a lot.
Yeah.
One of the
He loved going to Puerto Rico. He was there a lot.
the
Ric
World
Flair.
Heavyweight Championship came from that region because it was like the islands around. We had like wrestlers from all over the place, and that World Heavyweight Championship, I think I can't remember if it was like Ric Flair that actually took it, but basically they took it from that
That's
and then made it
interesting.
to where
And the
it is.
belt looks almost identical too.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the original World Heavyweight Champion and the first one in Puerto Rico. They look almost
But
identical.
yeah, that because that's where they took it from. Yep.
Right. Yeah, and I remember that when Bad Bunny came out in Survivor Series, that was the loudest crowd chanting in WWE history.
I watch that every couple of months. It's the greatest
it's
entrance
insane.
ever.
Biggest
Yeah.
pop ever, yeah.
And when he grabs the little shopping cart, that's when they say the little fun fact about the street laws.
The
street rules.
Cool.
Yeah.
That was the greatest celebrity wrestling match ever. And hats off to Damian Priest, who
They
Yeah.
carry
Bad
it,
Bunny
yes.
looks so good. And Bad Bunny though, man, where did that come from? Like he looked
right.
so good.
Well, he's a big fan, and he always said that when they interviewed him, he said, when I was a kid, I didn't want to be a rapper. I didn't want to be an artist. I wanted to be a wrestler. So when he got the opportunity, he trained for months before he even started showing up. Like the first time he ever showed up to the WWE, he had been training for months already.
Well, it
Yeah,
showed
like-
because he looked
Yeah.
like he was a seasoned veteran. It was crazy.
And he was out of the public eye for a while. And if you see videos of him before the match and after the match or during the match, his body transformation completely, like he was super skinny before that. And then when he entered the match, people were like, whoa, that's insane.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job. I know Logan Paul keeps trying to get him to fight, but I don't think it's gonna work because he's not gonna carry he does not. He still needs to practice. Like Logan Paul still needs practice.
I love Logan Paul in WWE.
He's a great.
He was
athlete,
made
for sure.
for WWE.
It's
Like that's all he should do for the rest of his life. Just not
It's
talk.
weird,
Just stay there.
like I honestly think like if he and Undertaker himself has said this because he's seen like the kind of talent, like the raw talent that Logan Paul has. As much as I don't really like Logan Paul based on all the bullshit that
course.
that he does, like he's involved in outside of the wrestling world. If he were to walk away from all of that and focus on 100% of his time on wrestling, he could be like truly a phenomenal talent.
he's taken wrestling to new heights as far as eyes on wrestling. That's why I really like what he's done. Not only just promoting it on social media and everything, but his podcast. He has all these wrestlers on. He has some. I don't know if you guys have watched any, but I watched about half of the one with Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
And just hearing the behind the scenes stuff now that it's allowed to be talked about, it's so cool that he gives these people platforms because he's a huge name. Millions of people are listening to his podcast. So to promote WWE and the stories and the work that goes into it's so cool. And he talks very highly of WWE. He knows how real this scripted sport is. So I love him for the industry.
When I found out that he was in WWE, I was like, come on, really? But then I saw one of his matches and he was like doing backflips and doing this and doing that. And I'm like, okay. Just don't fall. Don't break a leg, but do.
He had a nice spot at the Elimination Chamber the other day, climbing up on top of the pod to do a frog splash. It's like, he doesn't have to do that.
Oh, yeah.
But he puts his body on the line. I respect the hell out of him in a ring, in a WWE ring.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No, he's definitely got a lot of talent when it comes to wrestling. But like I said, he just needs to move away from all the other shit.
He's one of the names being floated around as a rumor about being like part of the corporation, which would make so much sense because he's a Hollywood guy. And people hate him already, so doesn't really have to do anything to his character. So I wouldn't hate that at all. As far as long as he doesn't give him a huge role in it, but I wouldn't mind seeing him be one of those people.
It wouldn't surprise anybody.
That's true, and maybe that's why they won't do it. That's true. But if they're looking for pure volume as a team for the corporation, he'd be an easy just slide right in. But we'll see what happens. I can't see him ever becoming a face. I can't. People actually hate him.
He tried.
People actually hate him. Like Dom Mysterio, people hate him because it's funny.
Oh yeah.
But Logan Paul, no, those boos are real. Those boos are real.
Oh man. Yeah. No. And that's another one. Dominic Mysterio. He works so well as a heel, and just the amount of heat that he gets as a heel. Like a lot of people have just had nothing but good things to say about his heel work. It's great.
People have very high expectations for him inside WWE. And when he first came out with his dad and he was a face, I hated him. He was so vanilla and horrible. The heel turn saved his career. I think he probably would have been released if it weren't for the heel turn.
Pretty much.
He was horrible, man. Like, I would not even like to watch his match. He won the tag team championship with his dad. That was amazing. And after that, it's like, oh my gosh, this guy sucks.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you're basically just kind of like right there under your dad's shadow. Essentially, absolutely. It's like you're Rey Mysterio's kid, and like that's you're not gonna gain any kind of, you'll get a little bit of notoriety based on that, but at the end of the day, fans are just going to completely see through it. They'll get tired of it, and
100%.
They will heckle the shit out of you. And it's like, I mean, one of the biggest examples of that is, like, no bigger example, I think, was The Rock when he first showed up.
Oh yeah.
When he was just Rocky Maivia, third generation superstar, blah blah blah. They pushed him and basically just put him in everyone's face, and then people quickly got tired of it and started booing him. And like,
he rode with it though. That's what actually made him.
Yeah, him and Vince were going back and forth like how they wanted to play this out, and Rock was just like, "Let me go out there and do this." Like his idea, like I think it was that big promo when he was basically just insulting the fans and shit like that when they were booing him. Like that was his idea to Vince, and I don't like Vince wasn't convinced at the time, but everything just kind of flipped on its head, and the rest is history.
A lot of the successful second, third generation wrestlers are the ones that you don't even know they're second or third generation wrestlers until they mention it one day. Like Bray Wyatt. It's like, oh yeah, he's a second generation, third, whatever he was. Really? Who's his dad? Randy Orton, a little bit more known, but there's a lot of these wrestlers that they just drop right into the commentary, second, third generation wrestler, and you have no idea. And I think they don't need to be talked about as that. They just kind of, a matter of fact, he's been doing this for a while.
Well, I mean,
Braun Breaker.
Braun
At
Breaker.
the beginning, I didn't know, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
you can see the similarity. And
yeah, he's Rick Steiner's kid, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Stu Steiner or Rick Steiner?
Rick Steiner.
Stu Steiner's the guy from Barstool Sports.
No, and that's that's the thing though. It's like I didn't even know who Braun Breaker was until I looked into it and found out. Oh, okay, he's Steiner's kid. That's cool, And so, but he's actually for himself as well. And then you get guys like Randy Orton. He was pushed as this next big thing, third generation superstar, whatnot, but he's also forged his own path.
Yeah, 100%.
And
also, speaking of him being back after the match with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, that was, I thought I was expecting it a little bit, but when that happened, that was very cool.
I wanted to see that punt so bad. So bad.
Yeah, I think one or two people wound up getting a fairly decent concussion because of that, and so they weren't going to let that happen again. You saw, he was keying up for that, and I'm just like, there's no way they're going to let that go. And everybody comes in and just stops the whole fucking. I'm like, come on, really? I knew that. Fuck.
I was so excited. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna get it again!" Because we just saw the package pile driver for the first time in how long? That Kevin Owens delivered. So I think they're letting people they trust and probably consulting with both wrestlers before they let any of these moves
I'm
out.
actually surprised that they allowed that to happen the first time, but it's been happening semi-consistently ever since. I'm like,
times.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And to have it done to Randy Orton, who's had neck fusion surgery and stuff like that, it's just crazy. We got an experienced guy like Kevin Owens in there doing it. I guess there's a level of trust. You're not going to let anybody do that, but Kevin Owens, I guess you give the benefit of the doubt to.
So, talking about that, what is the worst injury you've seen or that you remember when it comes to wrestling? And I'm not talking about deaths.
I was going to
Let's
say.
keep those.
Yeah. Well, outside
Let's keep those.
Outside of those tragedies,
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's for me, it's kind of between the Owen Hart pile driver to Stone Cold Steve Austin that wound up breaking his neck.
Yep.
And the super kick from Goldberg to Bret Hart that basically ended his career.
So the worst injury that I saw, I'm watching it right now, actually. I had to look up to see if it was the right name. 2006 Armageddon. Jeff Hardy off the top rope, jumps onto a ladder. The ladder pops up hard. He just jumped on it, hits Joey Mercury in the face.
Oh, yes.
Blood just starts pouring out of his face. That was probably the worst blood injury I've ever seen. That was... I watch that every time it comes on my feed. He's just like, I cannot believe that happened. But the worst actual injury had to have been the father-son double quad tear. Vince McMahon sliding into the ring and then Shane McMahon trying to jump over the Miz.
Yeah.
Like father, like son.
Damn.
But I'll tell you what, the most fun injury that I've ever seen was Cody Rhodes tearing his pec and then wrestling a Hell in the Cell match.
Yeah.
With a torn pec. There's just so many iconic, all bruised and purple.
And what's weird,
iconic.
What's weird is it didn't even happen to him in the ring. He was in the gym and he was just, he was, I guess somebody came in and was lifting a bit heavier than him. And then he decided
That's right.
put a few more plates on the thing, like an ego lift, and just completely fucked himself up. And he was just like, even he admitted like that was stupid.
That's why I don't work
dumb.
out. I have a Funko Pop back there with the purple torn pec. Him holding it. Yeah, they came out with an exclusive or something. It's him with the sledgehammer, with the torn pec. It's pretty cool.
That's dope.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'll post
I
a picture
remember the
yeah, I
one
was
that I
gonna say,
remember the
which ones?
most, and I saw it live, was Lita in New Year's Revolution, the first New Year's Revolution. She jumped off the top rope and she did a front flip, and they moved, and she landed on one of her legs, and the leg literally just popped out of place. And I was like, oh my God. And then they replayed it on the big screen, and I'm like, oh
yeah.
that's insane.
Oh man, there's another one from back in the day. It was Psycho Sid trying to do a top rope, some kind of kick off the top rope, lands wrong on his leg, and you could see the thing just fold up, like it snapped from. It was like halfway between his knee and his foot, like you could see the leg just completely fold in half. I'm like, the dude had no business being on the top rope anyway. Like he is not like that's not where a guy of his size should be ever.
That reminds me, I saw this video on TikTok. This backyard wrestling, and this really, really big dude he had just walked in, and he was on the second rope just doing this, and he turns and jumps off, and his knees buckled. And I was like, oh my God. Both his knees buckled. Insane.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like jumping onto somebody. No, he was literally just entering the match.
Oh, jeez.
We just had a really bad injury about a month ago. JD McDonough.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was one of the craziest. That was
what was that, Yadi? We thought it was his head. It looked like he got a concussion, but it turned out to be his ribs. What was it? What it turned out to be? Broken ribs and a punctured lung or something?
that's pretty. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah,
And he finished the match.
He did, dude. That was
shit.
crazy.
People are
That was a
psychopaths.
hard hit.
It was so bad,
Oh,
bad.
I,
But yeah,
I-
there's some
What's his name again?
JD McDonough. Don't ask me how to spell it. I have no idea how to spell McDonough.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
JD
He's,
WWE.
It's
Yeah, I know.
MCDONAGH.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. You got to watch that 2006 Joey Mercury injury if you've never seen it.
oh,
It is.
fucking hell.
I don't know
yes.
why his face was where it was, but it should not have been anywhere close to there.
Yeah.
What
That
were you even
was-
thinking?
That
It
was
was
the
so
spot.
bad.
That was the spot that was supposed to be, but it was just he was in the wrong position at the time, and
Right.
it hit him. It hit him a bit.
Straight.
Yeah,
to the
he
face. Oh my God.
took the full brunt of that completely, and like the pictures afterwards, like he was fucked.
Oh, man, he
up.
could have lost an eye with that thing, man. That was bad.
Mm.
I love the one where the video is speaking about blood, where Eddie Guerrero bladed too deep, and he just
Oh,
Oh
just,
yeah.
it's like gushing blood. The whole
bleeding.
match just wouldn't stop.
yeah. Wasn't it that his one of his matches with, was it with JBL at the time?
It could have been JBL, actually. I think you're right.
It was either with him, or it was one of his matches with Batista.
He botched a blade, against JBL, following a steel chair shot from JBL.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Okay, yes.
It just pour it. It's just gushing.
Yes. Yeah. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, he was one of my favorites.
We also talk about one of the crazy ones, which is Mick Foley
Oh,
going
yeah.
off the cage. That was his teeth, man. That was just.
Oh, yeah.
But you would think that it was like a booger.
Yeah.
But it was teeth showing up here.
Fucking teeth, man. just absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, I just saw the pictures that you posted with the Cody Rhodes Funko Pop.
So
with
cool, right?
With it, yeah, with the bruised pec, and yeah, man, it's
Funko knows how to sell a product, man. They know what they're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for the viewers, if you wanna see these pictures, head on over to our Discord if you haven't already. Links will be in the description below. So, and yeah.
The crazy part of that injury is that I don't remember who was he wrestling at the time.
Seth Rollins.
Yes.
Seth Rollins was like going at it too
yeah.
with the sledgehammer.
Uh-huh.
That was.
I'm like,
that was
dude.
that wasn't like I watched that, rewatched that match. That match was so good.
Uh-huh.
Like how is he doing that with a torn pec? I can't do that. I can't do half that stuff with two perfectly intact pecs. And like this guy, if someone put a sledgehammer on my perfectly fine pec, I'm gonna cry like a baby. And it was an amazing match. And Seth Rollins coming out with Dusty Rhodes, this yellow polka dot pants.
Oh God.
It was just from start to finish, just so good.
It's like when Seth Rollins kneed John Cena in the face and it broke his nose and he immediately just starts gushing out.
Yep.
It's like, oh.
There's some wrestlers too that wrestle super stiff. I used to love watching Brock Lesnar because I feel like Brock Lesnar would forget he was in WWE and thought that he was still fighting in the UFC sometimes with these hammer fists.
Oh yeah,
he'd be laying into people's faces and stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, speaking of Brock Lesnar, how stiff he works sometimes. Like he is like his match with John Cena. I think there was some behind the scenes stuff where they were talking about, he's the type of person that can make you bleed without having to use blades or anything like that. Like legit during that match when he was elbowing him at the angle he was elbowing him, and it's like that they went over that like backstage, and it's like they planned out that spot, and he was like, he's like, don't worry, I can do that, and you won't have to.
Really?
Yeah, like he legitimately at the angle he went down with his elbow right on his forehead and just busted him open legitimately.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It is fake, but they put their bodies on the line.
Oh yeah.
That's why I always say it's not fake, it's scripted.
Yeah.
It's predetermined.
I mean, it's a big occupational hazard. But it's not as bad nowadays because they've done away with almost all house shows. Like you don't see house shows on their calendars anymore on the website or anything like that. They've almost completely done away with house shows.
When? Because they still, I've been to a few house shows in the past few years.
Oh, it's recent. This coming up.
Ever since,
really?
Ever since Raw on Netflix.
Really?
Well, I think it's they started to slow it down after, I think not long after TKO took over. After Nick Khan,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, after Nick Khan bought everything out and Vince was forced out, they started scaling back and just slowly doing away with the house shows. And you can see the difference because a lot of these people that you would expect probably would have retired by now or still going, like Randy Orton and like it's a career extender for a lot of these people. Like, and you're gonna see a lot of between Randy and AJ Styles and guys like that, like going into like getting ready to cross 50, some of these guys are, and still going. It's crazy. And so like you're going to see a lot of these newer talent that are going to be able to go for a lot longer.
I didn't even realize that about the limiting the house shows. You get some serious. Seth Rollins like tore his ACL at a house show. Like there's some serious injuries that happen there.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. It's smart. I like it. I mean, I sacrifice house shows if it means watching these guys for 10 more years. You know?
Oh yeah.
Right.
And they get a happier people in the roster and whatnot. Like they have more time with family. Like that's something that keeps people thinking like, oh, this is my last year. This is my last year.
Yeah.
Same with like what's his name, the commenter, Michael Cole. Like I did see his interview recently with Logan Paul, and he was talking about how he's been thinking about retiring, but he just signed a new contract because of how easier it is to spend time home, and that also caused for them to not get injured that much, at least the ones that wrestle.
Oh yeah. Well, I think plus he's also taken a step back with his behind the scenes stuff because it wasn't just commentary that he was doing because he was like a lot higher up on the WWE ladder, and so he was doing a lot more behind the scenes as well. And so it seems like he's kind of scaled that back, and so he can also spend more time with his family and whatnot. And but yeah, no, it's like you see like the superstars, like the wrestlers, they're a lot, especially some of the older talent, like they're a lot happier with what they've got, and a lot happier with the product. And CM Punk in his in that interview that I talked about after he'd gotten injured at last year's Royal Rumble, like he talks about how he's a lot happier now than he was in his first stint with WWE, and a lot happier than he ever was in AEW.
I think some of that might have to do with there is a major competition now at WWE, so they have to. But I mean, it's a combination. I think that, and now you have a former wrestler running things for the most part, so he understands that how important that is. But I that's why I love that AEW is around, because I think it pushes both companies to be the best they can be, or they try anyway.
It did for a while. It did for a while, but what I've been seeing, and like that CM Punk interview and those videos that came out after it just kind of confirms it. It's just like when you got a guy like Tony Khan that has just got his hands too deep in the shit and wants to be friends with the people that work under him and not really be a boss to that respect. And then you got guys that are in those higher level positions like the Young Bucks and them. It's not, that company I feel like is not where it should be. And it really could have been and still can be significant competition for WWE, but I think they need to kind of change the way they do things, especially with their management structure.
It's a shit show.
At this point, yes.
It's a shit show. Yeah, that I think missed its opportunity to be a big competition. But I do like that wrestlers that we normally wouldn't be able to see after being released from WWE, we can now still watch. Like John Moxley, like what's his face, Ricochet, if you're into that kind of stuff.
I can't with that.
I walk around my house randomly doing that now.
Yeah. That's one of his things now, Luis. That's one of the things that he does. It's
so bad.
He never got the mic in WWE.
No.
So
that's why. That's why. He probably did that in front of Vince. They're like, nah, we're not.
That was annoying.
That's why
Cena was doing that for a while when he first did his like heel rapper gimmick, whatnot. Like he was doing that for a little bit, but I think creative kind of squashed that and
fucking
just
stop that right now.
Yeah, I'm glad they did that because it's like that's 90s cringe bullshit, early 90s shit.
Ricochet just be saying the most serious shit ever, and then he'll do that little sound and then walk off. Like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah,
you forget everything he just said.
Oh yeah. It's hard to focus on his promo when
you know it's coming.
You don't know exactly when, but it's happening.
It's good.
All right, so I have two questions for you guys before we wrap up.
Yep.
What is your favorite wrestling video game?
Oh, SmackDown versus Raw, like 2008, 2009. I forget which one it was, but it was SmackDown versus Raw for sure.
Yeah, I think mine was Here Comes the Pain. I think it was like 2005 or 6. Can't remember. Or 7. One of those years.
Here Comes the Pain, I think, was 2003, 2004.
You can ask Google. I think it was
Dr.
later. But
Google.
I'm googling
Yeah.
my my honorable mention right now.
Yeah.
It
Now,
was,
mine was SmackDown versus Raw 2006.
oh
SmackDown
yeah,
versus
look,
Raw
that's
is
Second
so
one.
different.
2003.
Yeah.
My honorable mention was on Game Boy Advance. It was Shrek Super Slam. Great game. Really good game. What a drop.
Had it on cue.
Oh, shit.
Lewis, did you have one?
Yes. It was the Nintendo 64. What was it?
That was like revolutionary when that came out with like the 3D.
Yeah.
Is it WCW?
No, it was WWF. But I don't remember the exact name of it. I just remember just playing countless hours.
Yeah.
And then SmackDown versus Raw. But I think it was the first one.
I gotcha. The only one that I remember on the N64 was WWF Attitude or something like that.
Yeah, and I had like The Rock and Stone Cold in front, like on the front. But I remember SmackDown versus Raw. The first thing I did was always create my own wrestler,
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh,
The
yeah.
best.
Yeah.
The best.
and I feel like that's the. And I would put so many tattoos on them
Oh,
too.
yeah.
There's
Yep.
no.
I still do. I still
Yeah.
I got the 2024 and a 2K24 and
Great game.
yeah, that's what the first thing I did.
I do the same with every time I do a 2K game, like NBA 2K, the first thing I do. I mean, now they force you. But any basketball, baseball, anything that you can create your own player, that is the first thing I do. I don't care if I can do my career or whatever. My dad used to get pissed at me because he's like, "Oh, you got the new game. Let's play." It's like, give me 2 hours and we'll play. And I always make sure I put everything on 99 so that way I put him on my team and I can beat his ass.
I'm tempted to actually get the new WWE 2K game.
Oh, looks awesome with the
Yeah.
new city mode. What do they call that? The city thing where you can.
You can have like 50 no, 20 or 50,
Yeah.
something like that. You can have as many players in like one city and you can walk around and do your thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like my neighborhood on NBA 2K.
yeah. I thought you were saying like your neighborhood. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what kind of
I'm going to assume that's probably where they pulled that from.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, 100%. That'd be a really cool feature though, and you could just wrestle people instead of playing pickup. I love that. Imagine getting pissed off at someone when you're playing
with a
NBA
table.
2K, and it's like, meet me on
Let's
WWE 2K.
Yeah, let's switch the games. I'll meet you over there. I'm going to beat you. All right. So, second question. Favorite wrestler?
Oh, I can go favorite wrestler right now and favorite wrestler all time.
Perfect.
My favorite
Let's
wrestler
do
in the WWE right now is Jacob Fatu.
Jacob is doing
I love
freaking
watching
great
him
job.
wrestle.
He's so agile for his size.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Crazy.
All time, Rey Mysterio. Because when I started watching wrestling, like 4th, 5th grade, he was the smallest guy. I was the smallest guy, and just watching him win the Royal Rumble, win the WWE champion, not the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Loved him. Loved Eddie Guerrero, Batista. They were definitely and Undertaker. I think everyone's favorite wrestler is Undertaker. I think everyone loved the Undertaker. But yeah, Rey Mysterio for sure. I went to a house show in Wildwood, which you guys don't even know what that means. It's a short point in New Jersey, and I had a Rey Mysterio mask and I wore it, and he pointed to me, and that's one of my favorite memories of all time.
Nice.
Yeah, one of my pop who got me into wrestling. He was from Puerto Rico, so maybe that's why he was into wrestling, because it's part of the culture. I don't know.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he watched it till the day he died, and he got me into it. So
Between wrestling, baseball, and boxing. That's like the three main things in Puerto Rico. And drinking.
and
but that's-
cockfights, I've heard. but we can't talk about that.
Meet me later.
Yeah.
And rooster fights.
All right, I'm interested to hear your guys' answer. Let's see, because we grew up in slightly different eras. Because just a couple of years, I feel like, is a huge difference in wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, right now, who's active? I do like Dominic because of all that he gets, and he can play the crowd. You know, it's so, and he's also a good wrestler. Like,
Yeah,
he's a very good wrestler.
it's come a long way.
Yes, and I don't think I have a favorite all time. Like, I like Goldberg and Stone Cold and The Rock. That'll be
Solid.
my three. I can't choose between them three.
I can see the why you like the other three. Like
Goldberg
Goldberg
was
and
just a
The Rock. It's
freaking beast.
like, yeah,
In his prime, of course.
he was like the Brock Lesnar of that time.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
yeah.
Didn't he squash Brock Lesnar when he came back like 10 years ago? Wasn't there like a
Yeah.
squash match or something?
So yeah, something happened. I think it was a bad match.
Yeah,
Oh no,
there
it was like Goldberg and Undertaker was a bad match.
That one was bad. I think the one he wrestled Brock Lesnar, I think he just squashed him in like a minute or something like that.
Oh yeah. Well,
I,
I mean,
think he
that's
got concussed. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
he
bad.
got something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that second Lesnar match was actually a lot better than their first outing at WrestleMania 20. That WrestleMania 20 match was garbage.
Yeah, and Lesnar is up there too, so I guess 4.
Lesnar's
It's just
great.
gonna keep going up. That's why I can't choose.
Yeah.
Cowboy Brock was all time.
I actually never watched anyone.
Cowboy
when that
Brock was
happened.
Cowboy Brock. I remember got like a a backhoe or something and tipped up the ring with Roman Reigns in it. Roman Reigns just like tumbled out of the ring. Cowboy Brock was a demon.
Oh shit!
I guess like going back a little bit. Right now, besides Dominic, is also Braun Breaker. That freaking guy moved the whole ring when he was like running in the ropes. He moved the whole freaking ring.
It's like 24 miles per hour or something stupid
Oh,
like that.
That was freaking crazy.
Christ.
Dude. And that's not easy because those things hurt. It's not only
Oh
speed,
yeah,
it's like the pain is gonna get. But
that spear that he
Yeah.
hit on I Show Speed.
that's yeah.
Oh my god!
I Show
that
Speed
was-
said he thought he was gonna die the next day. Like he legitimately thought he was gonna
Did you
die.
guys see the video from the crowd?
Oh yeah.
It looks
the
even
no
more
cuts.
insane.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
Great. It was great.
yeah. Justin, what about you?
For mine, recent. I mean, and it has been for me for a long time. CM Punk, but I've been following him and since just before he went into Ring of Honor, and so I've kind of followed his career since like before that.
Wow.
But like all time, I think. I mean, cliche, I think, but Undertaker.
So good.
Yes.
So you ever watch the Last Ride documentary?
I don't think I have actually.
Oh man, it shows the last year of his career, all behind the scenes. It's great. Yeah, really
I think
good.
I've
Highly
seen
recommend.
clips from it, but
That's
I'll
what
have
made
to-
me
I'll have
watch
to go
it.
back and
I kept
watch.
seeing clips. I was like, all right, I gotta.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
got me really back into wrestling. I think is watching that documentary. Like this is perfect.
Oh, I got you there. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, honestly, but CM Punk, like, he's always been like a big name for me to follow, especially like with how he is, and especially his mic skills.
Oh yeah,
Like
Unmatched.
he's one of the very, very few that gives The Rock a run for his money on the mic. Period.
100%. Yeah, unmatched.
I think
Now,
I think that's his only good thing, but that's my opinion. I don't know.
Justin, you like Undertaker? Do you like bisexual Undertaker, Damian Priest? I saw that being thrown around online. I was like, that's perfect.
Oh,
That's like the perfect.
That's the first I've heard. That's the
Really?
first I've heard that.
Oh, it's all.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what they
But it
call
fits
it.
him.
Well, no, Damian
Yeah.
Priest. Damian Priest is actually a pretty good, a pretty good talent there as well.
he really
Like,
is. He's underrated.
Yes, he is absolutely underrated. I think he should have been given a little bit longer of a run with the World Championship,
I think that's fair.
but
He had a
You
few
know,
botches. Yeah, he's a great wrestler, but he did have a few big botches that people did not like. But
Yeah,
besides that, yes, he is a good.
he shouldn't
Also,
be able
he's
to
good
move
on the
the way
mic.
he does.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
right.
like, there's no
Yeah.
reason for him to be able to jump that high and kick that
Yeah.
high.
But he did martial arts for a while too.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I heard. I
But-
kept hearing
yeah.
on the mic
Oh, yeah.
or on the commentary.
yeah.
Great segue, but continue. Justin, you were going to say something before I continue.
Yeah, it's weird nowadays. You see a lot more often that like these bigger guys that are moving a lot more free and they're a lot faster and more agile than you would think given their size and things like that. Because like way back when, like that was really not the case.
Oh, yeah.
And just like case in point, that Psycho Sid spot from the top rope that broke his leg. Like, come on, dude.
Oh, what's his face just broke his huge guy. Oh my gosh, he's the size of 10 people. What's his name? There's a tsunami.
Oh, Bronson Reed.
Yeah, jumping off the top of the cage like he had to, like,
Oh,
like, he had no
yeah.
business being up there.
Oh, that-
just
oh
shattered
my
his
God.
ankle. Yeah,
Damn.
so
So bad.
there's some instances where it's like, all right, you stay grounded.
There's a
Stay
limit. Yeah,
grounded.
there's
Stay
a
grounded.
limit. Like off the top rope is one thing if you think you can manage it, but off the top of a steel cage or something like that, especially at his size, no.
Like a baby rhino jumping from the top of the cage. Like, what is this guy doing?
Oh,
Didn't need to do that.
Yeah, back in the day, you'll only see the high flyers do that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like
Mick
you,
Foley.
yeah, but you wouldn't see the Dudley boys doing it, like jumping off the cell
They knew their
and
limits.
do. They knew that if I'm gonna jump, I'm gonna make sure that there's 2 tables and someone on it, so when I get all the way down, there's less impact. But going back to the Hardy Boys, they jump.
Oh, yeah.
9 times out of 10 or 50-50, the person will get out. And
Oh, yeah.
it was just for show for them to like go through it by themselves. Mm-hmm. So, but my current one, I have 2, Roman Reigns and Damian Priest. It's just I like the people that represent us.
Sure.
So that is why I love Damien. It's like, okay.
You have any of his shirts? He had some. I
do
wanted
have
to get
it,
the
yeah.
one shirt. Do you have it?
The one
The
in Puerto
purple
Rico?
dripping flag. Oh my gosh, yeah.
I got the Puerto Rico, but like
so good.
red, white, and blue.
Yeah, I missed out on that one. I don't think they sell it anymore. I wanted to get that one, but I love his gear with on his knees or on his shins, wherever the purple dripping Puerto Rican flag is just so sick.
Yeah,
It's
and then
insane.
he has like in his butt, he has the
Oh, in the
Taino
pocket?
Taino son and the Taino cookie.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah, I keep staring at his butt.
That's the only reason you noticed it.
Yes,
Oh,
He's like, hey, did you notice the cookie? The what? I was just looking at his ass. And all time, each one of you gets a guess.
Ooh, all time.
Yeah.
I feel like all time yours would probably be Stone Cold.
Okay, Stone Cold.
The Rock.
Ric
Okay.
Flair.
Is that really your answer or are you just being an asshole?
Kane.
Kane.
Is it really?
No
The
shit.
big red machine.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Like his second suit. Like it was like no.
Are you talking like
It was
Iron
a
Man? What are you
tank-
talking about? Second
Like
city.
the tank top, not like
Oh,
like
I know
the
what you're
full
talking about.
sleeve kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
The first one was full sleeve, no sleeve.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The second time was the tank top.
You want to show a little more
around
skin.
around the time he came
Pretty
back.
much.
I think it was around the time he came back. I think it was I think it was that spot during with the Un-Americans when they were trying to burn the American flag.
Yep.
And then he came out with that new outfit and the new version of his song, which was super cool.
Why do you
Yeah.
know everything, Justin? You know like the dates and the shows. You have like a photographic memory for wrestling.
I don't know the exact dates.
You know a pretty good timeline. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they had it with the game.
I can kind of generalize it like to a point, but it's like
Pretty impressive.
At the end of the episode, I was going to tell Chris, okay, you started the episode or you started the call by asking Justin, or telling Justin, I didn't know you were a wrestling fan. And by the end of the episode, how do you feel about his knowledge of wrestling?
He's a closeted WWE nerd. It's like he doesn't showcase it, but he brings it out when he has to. It's like he knows his stuff. You are a walking encyclopedia of WWE knowledge.
I wouldn't call myself a walking encyclopedia, but I mean, I watched it like not so much religiously, but I watched it a lot right up until I think it was 2010 or early 2011 when they made the stupid decision to bring people from the Jersey Shore onto WrestleMania. And I'm just and what's stupid is like they copied off of TNA that did it like a few months before. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm done. And I literally stopped watching wrestling until June when I found out when I heard about the pipe bomb, CM Punk's pipe bomb. And I'm like, that's what caught my interest. And looking at like the storyline as it progressed from there, I'm like, dude, they are really they're finally going with this guy after how many years? I was so happy when they finally, like when the machine finally got behind him and did that. And so I was just going and watching, and it got me back into the product right up until like 2019, 2020.
Well, you when you say you watched wrestling, you talk like you studied wrestling. You know, you're like, oh yeah, that happened right before Bash at the Beach in 1935. Like, it's like you're like. By the way,
the moment he said the name of the event,
I know.
and in that conversation, I knew I had to ask you this question.
You said you liked Kane.
Yes.
All time. So if you haven't seen already, I would love to introduce you to Gain.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Cocaine.
I've seen them both.
It's the greatest thing ever.
Seen them both.
Gain is actually my favorite wrestler right now.
So the reason I like Kane is because I used to watch the Puerto Rico wrestling, and we had Thunder and Lightning. And Thunder and Lightning were twins, and they had the same outfit that Kane had, but it was blue and white, and then they had a thunder symbol in the front.
And
But the
Lightning in
mask,
face.
and the mask was the same. It was
pretty
just, and the long curly hair. So they literally looked like Kane. I'll see if I can
Just Google it as Thunder E Lightning.
see.
I'm looking it up too. I want to see this. Oh yeah, Thunder and Lightning.
They just retire.
Yeah.
One of them, I think Thunder just retired.
Yeah,
Oh,
look at
gotcha,
them right now.
gotcha.
They both look like Kane.
That's crazy. Put that on the general chat as well.
Here's a video of them wrestling.
A great. It's like
IWA.
Yeah, they were a great tag team match, like tag team partners and whatnot.
Here's the blue. That's cool.
IWA. That's a promotion I haven't heard in a long time.
It's
Not since-
Puerto Rico. It's yeah.
Well,
International
I
Wrestling
remember-
Association.
Yeah, I remember IWA back when I think it was IWA Mid South when CM Punk wrestled for them before he went to Ring of Honor.
No, but this is like IWA Puerto Rico. Like,
Right.
It's not. It wasn't in the U.S. Even though it was
but
part of it,
that is the
yes.
reason why I left
cool.
Kane, because then I started watching WWE and I saw Kane and I'm like, okay, and I gravitated towards him.
Oh yeah.
That's who I like. And then every time, now going back to the video games, I always, every time I created a player or a wrestler, I always had the main move was the choke slam, but it had to be Kane's. And if I had once they started adding a second one, it was the spear, but it had to be Goldberg's.
At the end.
Yeah. And then he gets up like,
Yeah.
crazy.
You should look up a video of Kane being what's the name? Oh my god. This thing.
Clothesline?
Clothesline by John Cena. You'll thank me later when you see it.
Oh, definitely I'll watch it.
Kane being clotheslined by John Cena.
Yeah. Is all the times that Kane being clotheslined by John Cena
And is it when he just stands there and he doesn't move?
no.
Because I've seen a couple of times where John Cena tried to clothesline him, JBL tried to clothesline him, and
Oh yeah.
they would just, and it was a power move because JBL. JBL had the clothesline of hell.
Clothesline from hell.
It's
the best.
weird. It's weird because like JBL or Bradshaw is like literally the only guy that could turn a basic wrestling move like a clothesline into a finisher. It's crazy,
yeah.
and the way he
And
did
it looked good too.
putting everything he had into it, and the way some of his opponents sold that, like with the way I mean,
I think The Rock was the best finishing move seller,
Oh yeah, with the stuff.
especially with the
Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was the best.
Oh yeah,
Austin Theory gave him a run for his money.
yes,
he sold it
yes.
pretty good.
Oh my
too.
god, yes. He.
I think I remember that one.
Oh
That
my god,
he,
yes.
He flips on his back and then gets up and flips again and then falls.
It's really good.
Oh my. I mean, yeah, no. Austin Theory is probably the only other person besides The Rock that I've seen better sell the fucking Stone Cold Stunner. It's ridiculous.
I love that it's become a competition too.
Oh yeah.
Worst sell of all time, Vince McMahon from a few years ago.
Oh jeez.
That was
Vince
like, oh,
McMahon
this
is
guy needs
just-
to get out of here.
I still that my head still goes to that what is it, the 2005 Royal Rumble when he tried to slide into the ring and tore both his quads, which we talked about earlier, like legit. And it was so stupid because it was like this big mistake where, Cena and Batista both went over the top rope at the same time and they both hit at the same time. And there was this big thing, like we figure out what the hell's going on. We got to figure out what the hell we're doing because that wasn't supposed to happen. It was a massive, massive botch on the part of, I think, Cena, and you could see him coming out doing his fucking walk, and then he goes to slide into the ring, and the way he slides in, you could see like his knees connect with the corner of the freaking ring apron, and then as soon as he goes to stand up, he just crumbles and falls right over, and then he's sitting there with his legs straight out trying to direct traffic, and I'm just like, dude, he looks like a pouty freaking kid just sitting there like just trying to get everything back in.
Who was? I'm trying to remember who was the wrestler that went to go over.
I know what you're talking about.
He tried to go over the top rope, but he tried to do a flip also, but his neck caught the middle rope and he flipped and he got caught in both of them.
Ooh,
There's been a few.
I don't know.
There's been a few. I know Damien Priest that happened to him recently.
Oh, was it his leg or his neck?
His leg, yeah. And this one was his
Yeah,
leg,
there's several people that have had that happen to their leg, their arm, wrist. But
Maven had it on his head, but that was part of the thing. Because he has a YouTube channel. He did explain that.
Yeah, dude, he's great on YouTube.
He's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, there's so many, like, I haven't really sat down and watched it lately. So everything you guys were talking about, I was like, oh yeah, like it reminds me of like back in the day. But if we talk about previous, like the Attitude Era, that is when I'm like, okay, I can talk about this.
You can watch it now. It's on Netflix. Not sponsored.
Yeah.
Not sponsored.
If only.
This also has been the most I've heard Yadi talk in an episode.
I'll let you guys talk, but I like wrestling.
Oh yeah.
No, which was great. That's why I asked you, because I know that you enjoy talking about wrestling. And Sarah, every time that she starts recording, she's like, they're talking about wrestling. And I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry. Because before it was just Chris and Darren, and now Scott is in it.
Which was like a 3-minute thing. Now Scott's involved.
And then they showed pictures to Nick of what some wrestlers wear, and he's like, I'm watching it.
It turns out Nick is actually Gain.
Yeah. Plot twist.
Wow.
All right, so we've extended this for an hour and a half. So
Yeah.
last time we did that, we were like, oh, we're just going to split it in 2 episodes. Fuck it. We're going to do 1 episode. If you all like it, listen to it.
Hell yeah.
If you
man.
don't, just listen to it, please. We need the views.
I mean, it would make sense if the episode went over 3 hours, like our video game episode at the beginning of the first season. But yeah, no, I mean, an hour and a half, that's not.
Yeah, it's not bad. But when I asked Chris about the whole knowledge of Justin, that is how I felt the first time that I spoke to him at work about Power Rangers. Okay. Whoever you are. It's a bot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because we're on...
I'm going to streamboo.com now, actually.
Yeah. Oh, remove the space. All right. With that being said, do you guys have anything else?
It's all good, man.
All right. Great. Thank you for joining us this week. Thank you, Chris. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Chris Yobb. You can find me on TikTok at Chris Yobb NNF. And you can follow me. You can find me on the podcast that I talked about in the beginning of the episode, Into the Disneyverse. If you're into Disney, if you're into just humor and dark humor and all that jazz, you can search us Parents Night Out. You can find us at no-new-friends-podcast.com for No New Friends for the Parents Night Out podcast. Don't ask, just do it.
Just do it. Don't ask questions. The more questions you ask, the less you understand.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, thank you, dude. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you. I had a blast.
I mean, we always do.
It was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So just make sure that you follow all of our social media. Justin?
Click all the things.
You heard it right there. We'll see you next week. This was the Nerd Archive Podcast. Deuces.
Bye.
Dude, spit on that thing. You get me?